So, Alison, thanks so much for joining me today.
Hmm.
I interviewed you as part of my project last year, and we worked together on the same Middlesbrough Art Weekender.
Yeah.
I will be putting up those interviews that I did last time.
Oh,
So,
fab.
but it would just be brilliant to find out what you've been up to since then. And
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It seems so long ago now that we did those residencies. It's like just over a year, isn't it? And it's been really interesting, and I loved the experience of working on those residencies and the kind of skills that I acquired, and sort of working with such a wide and diverse range of people, and the support from Vlogbase as well, and the Art Weekender, and Liam and Anna and Gordon. So it was a really fabulous experience. So for me, kind of from then, I sort of I probably spent the last year kind of dipping into different things that I kind of never really thought I could do until I did the residency. So it's kind of made me sort of think more kind of multidisciplinary and kind of stretch my practice a bit more. And then I'm working on a film as well. I'm that is about Teesside too, and it is kind of currently sort of situated within. It's quite an experimental piece and non-linear, and it's kind of rooted in the Teesside landscape and the kind of new changes to it as well. So that's kind of in process at the moment. So lots of shooting footage, lots of writing, and lots of reading as well, and kind of re-engaging with Middlesbrough's sort of history, and having that kind of time to sort of reflect on it really. So it's been good.
fantastic. So, do you know Morbid or JT?
Um, I do know Morbid, but not well. But he's married to Mary Lou, who I work with, who's incredible, an amazing artist. Yeah, so I'd quite like to. I've kind of heard about what they're doing, and it sounds amazing. Actually, I'd really like to kind of get along to one of their events in virtual internet world.
Yeah, I don't know if they are very Zoom people,
Yeah.
but definitely. I mean, as far as I know, their knowledge of Middlesbrough history is the exemplary. So it's
Oh,
well worth speaking to them. I've got some interviews with JT that I can.
oh, brilliant. So JT, is that what? I
Um,
don't
I can't remember what his actual name is, but that's the name he uses. He produced an Arts Council film called Historic about Middlesbrough some time ago. Uh,
Ah, I know who. Oh yeah, brilliant. Oh yeah.
so hopefully that'll be a useful part of your project. So, just in case people don't watch the old interview, can you just describe a little bit about what you do, more generally, and a little bit about what we did for the Weekender last year?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, brilliant. So my name is Alison Agar, and I'm based here in Stockton, Teesside. And I kind of work primarily as a sort of artist, filmmaker slash photographer. So I kind of work within lens-based media, and I also teach as well. So I kind of teach on photography and fine art and film degree as well. And yeah, I'm kind of currently kind of developing kind of my practice and kind of figuring out which way to go next with it. And last year in September we did the Tees Valley Screen and Auxiliary artist residencies with Vlogbase, and I worked with Nick John Williams and his we kind of worked together Nick designed and was the mastermind behind a system called the Living Archive, and I provided the footage and kind of film to feed the Living Archive, which resulted in a sort of audio-visual installation with kind of with support from Vlogbase as well. So that was a really kind of interesting experience, and it was amazing to kind of work within that field because it's something that I haven't done before, but Nick is incredible at that, and he's kind of taken his idea for the kind of system design of the Living Archive, and he's developing that, and I've kind of gone back to my sort of practice of photographing and kind of filming and making work, so we've kind of gone off like kind of our different kind of respective paths. Yeah, but I mean, it was an amazing experience, and I think the support that we got was absolutely phenomenal, and it's really kind of elevated and kind of like acted as a great kind of catalyst for both of us, really, me and Nick. And yeah, it kind of really made me sort of rethink my practice, which is what I've had to do with kind of COVID as well, and like lockdown and sort of not being able to get out in the way that I would have wanted to go out and film and shoot as well. So yeah.
So have you always been involved in the arts? Did you come from a kind of creative background?
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely say that. So I kind of I sort of studied locally, did my foundation at the art college, and I went to Northumbria, did my degree in fine art, and then sort of that's when I discovered like film and photography, but I kind of never thought of myself as like a filmmaker or a photographer, and I probably didn't even think of myself as that until about maybe like 2 years ago. Even though I'd always worked in it, I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of like I'm photographing to inform something else, or I'm making this little bit of film to inform something else. And I kind of I did a master's in photography at Sunderland, which was like absolutely incredible, really great course, like absolutely could not kind of recommend that more. The tutors were like amazing, and they really kind of, I suppose like when I was there I really thought about kind of what photography could be and what photography meant and what the photographic meant, and how I could kind of work within those realms as well. So that was great. And then of course with the Living Archive and the Tees Valley Screen Residencies, that was a way of me kind of sort of repositioning my work as well. So yeah, I would definitely say I've taught for like over a decade as well now, which is really interesting. I get to work with fantastic students, so yeah, I'm really lucky to do that as well. So yeah, but it's kind of, it feels very multidisciplinary, like it feels kind of like very sort of very exciting to kind of play around and sort of explore the spaces between them as well. And I'm currently also a PhD student at Teesside, and that my kind of the premise of my work is kind of exploring Teesside photographically and sort of cinematically as well, but at the time of change, so from kind of industrial to digital, and it's kind of also rooted in very much like topographic photography as well. So that's really exciting. A great place to do it as well. Amazing support at Teesside, and a really kind of super exciting and vibrant research community as well, which I've kind of found amazing support.
Brilliant. So one question that I always like to ask is, apart from, it's like at the moment you say you're working on a film, and like we had our artist residency with the installation at the end, but other than that idea of working towards something like an end product,
yeah,
what do you think the arts what does it give to you individually, and what kind of role, what part do you think it plays in society?
So I think in, I suppose, like in a kind of wider context within society, I think it's absolutely fundamental and absolutely imperative, and impact on our day-to-day life and well-being, and I see that all the time in the way that kind of we work with students, and I work with students as well. It's so important to kind of provide that voice as well, and to that outlet for young people, like everyone, but kind of it is, yeah, it's fundamental. I couldn't kind of sort of the thought processes, the way that kind of I interact with everything, and just the ability to kind of like cross disciplines and sort of use your kind of creativity and your kind of experience and sort of vision with other people to kind of create something really unique as well, and to kind of problem solve and to push forward and to kind of, yeah, all of that. I think it's so incredibly important as well. And I think as well, with Teesside having such an amazing reputation for kind of like digital media and new media and animation and all of those kind of like new really exciting kind of startups as well, like, you know, feel that that is playing in a kind of a really crucial role as well, like the kind of the sort of support of the universities and colleges around here as well, and all the like the kind of businesses as well.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, particularly in artists, the work that artists like yourself do, I just think it's so important in making the history of Teesside accessible to the people who live, because, you know, not everyone wants to read an academic paper or get a big weighty book out of the library, but
Yeah.
if the artists are assimilating all of this and then making it available through like film and photography, it just brings it kind of presents it in a way that it makes it accessible to the people that might be unaware of their own history.
Yeah, absolutely. And that those kinds of like different kind of modes of presentation and the kind of accessibility, like sort of kind of making it for like everybody. I think when we were in the kind of artist residencies as well, like a real sort of joy was the sort of the open door and everybody coming in and talking to us and engaging with the work, and it just felt so special. And, you know, kind of that really sort of informed me as well. And, you know, kind of I guess like sort of on a day-to-day level, like working with students, and we'll kind of talk about stories from Teesside and Middlesbrough, and they've grown up here as well. Like a lot of them have grown up here as well. Some of them have just moved, and it's just that kind of way of sort of telling those stories and passing them on, and kind of like presenting them in different ways, whether it's audio, visual, kind of sort of haptic, like feels really, really important.
Yeah, totally. That's why I'm pretending to be back in my this was the old Thomas Cook unit that closed down, that I was given for the art weekender. And yeah, Elvis, you know, was my favorite visitor over the weekend. You say just a random being somewhere like that, in the middle of a shopping centre, and in the units that we had, it brought in people that otherwise might not be interested in the arts at all.
Yeah.
And Elvis in particular had a brilliant time. He rang his partner on the phone so he could kind of show her around what was happening and tell her what about it at the same time, and then came back the next day with some Elvis CDs and DVDs for us. So that was
it was amazing. It was amazing.
So we've touched a little bit on how lockdowns affected your work. I suppose it's been much easier since like the full lockdown lifted. It must have been really frustrating to have that time where there was something so important and historic going on, but you weren't really allowed out to capture it. Did you manage to get any photography done during that time?
A little bit, but what I ended up doing was sort of looking through old stuff that I'd done and that I hadn't really kind of lifted out the box, so to speak. Like, so I kind of spent the time kind of thinking, what have I got? Actually, I've been shooting around Middlesbrough for years, for about like a decade, if not more. What have I got? And so it kind of made me sort of kind of recontextualize all the work that I'd done in this kind of in response to this new project, and also kind of practice a little bit kind of my digital skills, because I thought if this, you know, this kind of film, I suppose, like building on from the Living Archive and how like I presented the footage like that I'd shot using Nick's system, like it was it kind of made me sort of take stock about that, thinking, okay, is this even going to be a film? Like, is it going to be some like an installation? And what does that mean now? Like, what does it mean in this kind of new this new world that we're kind of navigating?
Yeah, I think generally that's been the case. It's been really good for artists to be able to step back and think about this and re-examine old work and find ways that they might bring that into future projects. So here, I mean, we were kind of on the cusp of another lockdown at the moment. Let's hope that can be avoided, and let's hope that, you know, you're at least free to go out and do your work individually, even if you can't sort of gather into anything collaboratively for now. It's been lovely talking to you, Alison. It was a pleasure to work with you last year, and I do hope we'll find an opportunity to do so again. And do keep me informed of what you're doing, and let me know when the film comes out, because I'd absolutely love to.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, well, thank you very much for kind of inviting me along. And
pleasure.
Hopefully see you soon. And good luck with the rest of the project. And I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Okay. Oh, take care. See you soon.
Totally.
Bye.